79T 2458 Learning Corp, Little Red Riding Hood, take one.
40 years of my life is in the wire that's gone. Does that make sense?
Where they say there are Indian people pooping on our beach.
It's a spool of wire. 40 years of my life is in the wire that's gone.
There's the notes. Good morning. How's your Saturday? Enjoying this white boy summer out there? It's great. Between the forest fires. Sorry about that, by the way. We forgot to clean up. We're the aging boomers in our hoarded place. Accidentally forgot. Left some oily rags around. Got to piss off the Americans next door. And then, of course, the boomers are running a victory lap. Yeah, taught them a lesson. It's like, what did you teach them? The TV told me Trump's bad. All right, fair enough. If you'll excuse me now, I got to go to Costco and spend $400 on the staples while an Indian man eats half the strawberries out of my tray. Yeah, so what the hell's a peptide? Now here, before we get started, I hope Couch has done his research on this topic. Otherwise, as a chemist, I need to smack his ass hard. I'll let you in on two things right now that are important. One, I have not done my research. And two, that's kind of what I'm going to be talking about. This is kind of like, and I get it, it's red pill peripheral. But it just gets me. Like, we just got through COVID. The biggest medical malpractice, institution, trust-destroying event in my living memory, at least. But I'm pretty sure even my grandparents' living memory, because if I recall correctly, when they started vaccinating people for polio and after the Spanish flu, a lot of people got mad. Yeah. But as the years passed by, they're like, all right, they kind of had a point. Right now, they don't have a point. So what I ask is like, is this peptide just another mRNA? I don't mean, is it an mRNA? In other words, is it a thing that sends RNA structures into your cells that allow them to create, amino acids or peptides or whatever? That's not what I'm asking. I'm asking, is this another case of like bullshit pseudoscience pretending to be real science, making fun of Joe Rogan for talking about pseudoscience, but at least being honest about pseudoscience, Which, by the way, and I also want to point out too, don't think of me as like an anti-vax type guy either, because I remember when that first came out, and the first thing that happened was people are like, oh my God, the mRNA, it hasn't been tested, it's going to make you sterile. For some reason, if you're anti something, your go-to fearmonger always has to be, it's going to kill your dick. It's going to make women infertile. It's going to make men sterile. And then all of a sudden they were going to say, wait a minute. And then, of course, like the vaxxers were like, oh my God, COVID's going to make you sterile. COVID's going to make you infertile. It's like everything out there was just a series of, this will fuck up your dick. Or this is the only thing your dick needs to survive. And I'm going, right there, you kind of know you're being bullshit, right? Yeah, but this guy agrees. I agree it's kind of bad too. Or I agree it was fine too. Yeah. So why are you sitting here be like, well, this bullshit's okay because it's for a better purpose? I'm going, what? Fuck that. And I remember in the Sphere, in this little shithole, remember this? Oh, everybody was all about the TRT, testosterone replacement therapy. Well, before then, they were all about what do you want to do for your stack, right? What was your stack? You were taking steroids. It wasn't just steroids. You said steroids if you didn't know what the fuck you were talking about. You had to talk about your stack. You know why? Because stack is shorter. It's catchier. It's like naming your main character Blake Stone versus like Jonathan Livingston. Like, it's like it's catchier. It's punchier. What are you doing? Oh, I'm taking steroids. Pfft, thanks, boomer. I'm on a stack. Oh, what's your stack full of? Steroids. Yeah. But there's different steroids. There's the oral steroids. Those fuck up your liver. Yeah, but it's cheap, so fuck it. And then we got D-ball. We got, and then some of the designer ones, they have better estrogen blockers. So while the other ones give you a hardcore dose of testosterone, free floating, they also increase your your estrogen levels. So you have to take an estrogen blocker, this. And it became like everybody became ad hoc scientists, which I'm not even against. I mean, I don't see why you would be against. If guys want to treat their body as a petri dish and allow me to learn from this, I'm all for it. But like anything, it's like just like red pill and self. It was originally a bunch of like highly invested, highly capable people with a very specific niche problem that found a bunch of people who had a same specific niche problem, created a scene. So as what's the hipsters call it? A scene. Because you can't call it a subgenre or a genre or a niche. You have to call it a scene. You know why? Because scene is like calling it a stack. It's catchy. Rolls off the tongue. Oh, that sounds awesome. Fuck you, Livingston. I'm Doc Savage. It's like, all right, I get it. And then like marketing makes the world go round. You got to convince people to do shit. And so things have to be catchy. And if they're not catchy, then why the fuck are we doing it, right? I hope Coach has done his research on this topic. I have not done my research on this topic. I can almost guarantee that of all the people that have done their research on this topic, there is one, and his name is Silver Bishop 1402. He's the only one who's done his research. I know for a fact that a majority of people using peptides and a majority of people who are talking about using peptides don't know what the fuck peptides are. They don't know what amino acids are. They don't know what mRNA stands for. Now, I don't know what mRNA stands for, but I could easily look it up. If I were to start taking mRNAs, I would look up the fucking acronym. I'm sure it's something like mitochondrial RNA. And what is RNA? It's like ribonucleus something or other. Like, I know it, I just can't say it or spell it. But if I see it on a page, I'm like, yeah, that's the one. You know, A, B, or C. It's definitely B. That's the one. Recall, not remember. So testosterone was all the big thing. No, sorry, your stack was all the big thing. And then the stack kind of went away because guys, and I already know exactly how it happened because I had a bunch of friends. When I was in the military, this would have been about 5 years in. So the guys were hitting their mid to late 20s, almost hitting 30. And I had, out of my core group of peers, there's probably like a dozen of us. About 5 of them went on some form of testosterone. Of those guys, which is weird because, like, drugs are illegal in the military. They'll kick you out for it. But any type of biohacking stuff, they kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of like when you talk to Latter-day Saints guys, the Mormons, and they will drink a lot of, like, Diet Coke. But they don't drink caffeine because caffeine affects your system. But it's like, Diet Coke has caffeine in it, though. Yeah, I mean, the priest says it's okay, so it's okay. It's like one of those things. So they did it. And of all of them, one of them was training to be a clearance diver, which is kind of like a Canadian Special Forces designation. It's long story. Just think of it the same way you would think of as Navy SEAL minus shooting people. More like mine hunting and shit. And he went from like 180 pounds to like 210 and just shredded, jacked. He was already balding, so he's like, oh, fuck it, what have I got to lose? And he didn't. Anyways, but he went for his clearance diver course and he failed out of it, not because he wasn't strong enough or fit enough to do all the prereq stuff in the prelims, but he just missed that. He didn't have that dog in him. Because a lot of it is just, they just fuck with you to make you want to quit. So that way they only get the people that really want to stay. And another friend of mine who was completely clean and also not in good shape, he was a pudgy bastard. They used to nickname him, his nickname was the Potato. But he made it in. Basically because he was just too stupid to quit. And I always thought that was funny. So that's my testosterone replacement. No, sorry, my stack story 1. Stack story 2 and 3 are the same story. The 2 guys took it and they thought it was like growth hormone. You just take it and then you sit back and let the muscles grow. Didn't work out. Didn't even cut weight. Like, I can get you not taking testosterone because like you want to get big and massive and whatever. I can get fine. But like the one advantage of it is you don't lose muscle mass as quickly. So it's like one of the better things to do if you want to take like an extreme cut. They didn't do none of that shit. So all they ended up with was a little bit of Norwood, some back acne, and some scarring. I remember one of my buddies, he was on it, and we were at this, they have this beer fest that was in Vancouver Island every year. It's just basically an outdoor park, like take a soccer pitch, put a bunch of tables on there, give you a bunch of like arcade tokens, and you start pumping tokens into beer machines and just getting plastered. And I mean, Oktoberfest level plastered. It's the Canada that I miss that's no longer here because Indians have ruined it for everybody. Indians and liberals, but I repeat myself. So he's out there getting drunk with us. I'm like, aren't you on a stack? Aren't you on testosterone? He goes, oh, it's a stack. Aren't you on a stack right now? He goes, yeah, but I had to come out to see you guys. I was like, fuck, whatever. And then I kind of went by the wayside. Testosterone was no longer cool and hip to talk about. Not your stacks. Because everybody was like worried about the stigma. Oh, you're on TRT. It's like saying you're on a stack is like saying you're on crack. Crack cocaine. You're one of those evils. Wife beaters. I still laugh about that. The one day I just wanted a blood test. Finally got a GP in Canada. I haven't had one since I left the military in like 2014, 2015-ish. Took like 10 years to get one. Finally got one. I'm like, yeah, I would like a blood test. I'm in my mid-30s and I want to see what my baseline levels are so later on in life I can find out if I'm losing stuff. She gave me a 20-minute riot act about wife beating and roid raging, and I was just like, fuck. I can see why people just do this shit underground. It's like, do I need this chick chastising me? So yeah, I eventually got it. Yeah, it's great. Turns out, been steady the whole time. No change. No change. Which is great. Over the years, still the same guy. I can live with that. I see some super chats here. Let me get through the rant first, and then we'll get to it. Anyway, so everybody hated stacks and testosterone. But then they had TRT, testosterone replacement therapy. Speaking of things where guys are like, I'm not going to bother learning the acronym. But as soon as they added the word therapy at the end of it, oh, fucking marketing brilliance. Oh, it's mental health. It's therapy. It's testosterone replacement therapy. We're not giving you more testosterone. We're replacing the testosterone that you lost. Well, how much did I lose? I don't know. This is our first blood test, but clearly I have a chart here with a range on it, and you're below the range that I'm suggesting. It's like, who made that chart? Oh, some Redditor somewhere. See, in the 80s, they had this study where you're losing 1% of testosterone per year, and it's like you just make up whatever bullshit story you want, throw it on a graph, put it up there, and then you give people like a lie. Everybody loves the lie. Oh, I'll give you a lie. It's testosterone replacement. Yeah, but isn't that still like drugs or stacks or whatever? It's like, yeah, but it's therapy. Oh, well, give me 7. And look, I'm not even against it at all. I just laugh at the absurdity and the bullshit of it because you see it pop up everywhere. And we're so selectively outraged at the bullshit. I don't mind being bullshit if they promise me something, but don't bullshit me and then tell me it's for the good of other people. Fuck that. It's all bullshit. I don't know what to tell you. TRT kind of became, it's popular now, but now it's like, oh, guys in their 40s are doing it. It's not cool anymore. Meh. So it was like nootropics. Oh, this shit makes your brain go better. And in fairness, the nootropics is where I jumped on the train, right? I learned how to pronounce racetams. I know the difference between piracetam and oxyracetram and aniracetam. I get it. At the same time, I already knew it's like, yeah, this is definitely not the kind of thing you want to be taking like long term. So if I had I was in the military and I had to finish university while I was working full time, occasionally I take some of those just to pass through the stuff. Don't mind the wheezing, by the way, if you can hear that. The dog's got fluid in his lungs and I cannot kick him out of the room. He keeps sneaking back in here. So if the noise is too much, let me know and I'll put on an ad and then beat the dog. Oh yeah, nootropics. So all that stuff kind of made sense, and you could feel the effects, and it works. It's great, but there was no illusions. It's like, yeah, it's like you're literally taking drugs. Like racetams, they're antipsychotics they used to prescribe. It's essentially like the Ritalin shit. Remember that? Everybody was taking Ritalin and that for studying. Yeah, I get it. Ritalin, SSRIs, no, but nootropics, racetams. Oh, it's better. All right. Yeah, but you just mix it with these other things. Is that like those pre-workout drinks they used to give you all the time? Remember like NO Explode? Oh, in the military, my deployment, I loved that shit. Like, yeah, it's full of all this great stuff, and you read the ingredients, it's got a list of supplements, and then you see just like 350 milligrams of caffeine, and you're like, oh, I think I've understood now why I feel so perked up for a workout because of this shit. It's just caffeine, it's just speed. It's not speed, it's a supplement. It's like therapy. It's replacing this caffeine that's out of your system now with all these amino acids. I'm like, that sounds fucking fancy. It's all bullshit, man. It's all bullshit. And then kind of like when you watch the COVID shit, shaming you in it, getting the dancing needles on daytime TV and all this shit, and you're just like, what the fuck is this? And like, they didn't offer you anything. I think that's the big difference between the mRNAs and peptides and TRT and stacks and nootropics and racetams and all this shit. It's the first time that people have gotten bullshit pseudoscience where they're like not even attempting to tell you it's for your own good. Oh, you got to do it to save grandma. You got to do it because, think of the children. You got to do it because for the good of the country. The GDP will climb to a halt. We'll all die. And it's like, for the last 10 years, it's been nonstop me learning about how much I cannot stand my countrymen. Like, not all of them, but that you know what I'm talking about. Like, you know who I'm talking about. And then you're telling me, hey, I better do this or they're all going to die, and you expect me to be on board with that? It's like, nah, man, fuck that. Survival of the fittest. Let's go Ayn Rand on this shit. And then, of course, everybody knew it was bullshit because there's, like, obvious questions. Hey, you got this thing through trials, 18 months. It usually takes 10 years. So what's the issue here? Is it that we often make the trials take too long and they don't need to be that long and we're wasting all this time and money? Or are those trials absolutely required to be that long and we're just cutting corners? And then they would just tell you to shut up, bigot. And you're like, so either way, either solution is just as plausible too. So you're just like, and everybody just kind of checks out, fuck that. Well, they're not going into restaurants then. Luckily for us, they increased inflation and food production so much that it's like, I'm not going to pay $100 for McDonald's. Still think it's wild, man. Went to Wendy's, of all things. Wendy's. Spent $50 on like 2 Happy Meal equivalents. And it's like, what the fuck are we doing here? A restaurant. I can't leave the house without $100 anymore. And I'm not even mad. I'm not like, oh, that's my last $100. It's not that. It's just like, what the fuck, man? I went to go get deodorant. Anyways, enough of the rant. We'll get to the super chats. Free Gender has a read in chat. Like, I don't hate these, but it's so annoying. Like, I have to go hunt for the comment now, but whatever. I said to do it. Is it White Boy Day? I don't think it's White Boy Day. What movie is that from? I don't know. I really don't know. God, he's just gonna sit there wheezing all fucking chat, isn't he? Oh shit, we got a Mish here. All right, Gender, so I don't know if that's what you wanted me to talk about, the White Boy Day. I really don't know. It's got to be a football movie, though. That's my guess. Football movie or a gang movie. Maybe like 8 Mile with Eminem. I've still never watched it. Dark Knight Dev, $10 super chat. Right now, I take Retretudide. Retretudide. It's like Ozempic, but it burns more fast. Good for blood pressure and insulin resistance, but you got to lift because you get full easily. Went from 231 to 208 today. And that's the thing that gets me. So, and thank you. You're actually kind of on the point here. I love how everybody's giving me like, well, he needs more information. It's like, maybe. So from what I know about hunger, there is a hormone your body produces called ghrelin. And ghrelin is the hormone that makes you feel full. You don't actually feel full because your stomach is full or anything like that. Like your stomach's only the size of 2 knuckles, but you've seen, like this is the size of your stomach, but you know for a fact you've eaten more food than that before. So it's not about the volume of food. It's literally the hormone ghrelin makes you stop feeling hungry. And for the longest time, nobody has known how to, like they can create ghrelin in a lab, but they have no way to get it into you. They can't inject it into you. They can't feed it to you. It's some kind of endocrine magic, and so they don't know. It's like, we know it's there. We don't know how it causes it. We don't know what this. We just know what it does. And so for these things, that's my guess. If they're doing this the way you make you feel less hungry, it's some way to either create or synthesize ghrelin within your body, or it's a way to bypass it in some other thing. Now, I remember hearing about Ozempic. They took the poison from Gila monsters and they weakened it and they gave it to you and you're like, perfect. That shit that makes you just sit down and want to die? How about just like a little bit of that? Which right there, I'm like, I don't think I got that dog in me. I don't think I love food that much that I want to lose all of my dopamine response and slowly poison myself. Let me watch the first generation of people. And you're watching all these Ozempic people with their fucking gaunt ass faces. I was like, eesh. But of course, it's like with every new technology, right? The first adopter is always the one that gets fucked. It's the second guy coming from behind that fixes all the kinks. So now you got this retrotudide. God damn it, they need to come up with something fancier, like a stack, you know? I guess that's why they call it the PEP. So it burns more fast. I'm assuming he means it burns more fat. It's good for blood pressure and insulin resistance. I mean, what's good for insulin resistance is just stop eating. That's what solves insulin resistance. Insulin resistance is because your body gets a bunch of insulin and then is less sensitive to insulin. And that's insulin resistance. So just stop eating. Now, I don't know how this peptide works. I don't know if it affects ghrelin. I don't know if it's poisoning you with Gila monster spit. I don't know what it's doing. Now, and you can't say it's not doing the results. And this is the same thing as COVID. It was like a single track problem solution. They autistified the human condition. They're like, well, make sure nobody catches COVID because some people die on COVID. Didn't they die because you hooked them up to ventilators? Shut up, bigot. So we need to make people stop getting COVID. Well, how do we do that? Let's shut down the economy. Let's close all the shipping lanes. Let's pour $7 trillion into the economy because Halliburton needs it or some shit like that. And it's like, that's great. Did you stop it? No, not even close. Why is that? Because a bunch of right-wingers decided to go out in the park. It's like, really? You don't think them George Floyd protest? No, that's fine. Doctors have said so. I was like, all right, fucking bullshit. I'm just dying here, man. I'm just dying. And of course, if you're a red pill guy, if you're a married guy, relationship guy, you have a whole other track to have to deal about too, because women are neurotic. They are neurotic to a level that you will never understand as a man. Your 8 out of 10 panic attack is unheard of. Your 9 out of 10 panic attack is their 2 out of 10 panic attack. And they panic over everything. They don't even panic on shit that exists. They invent shit, go into a time machine, put shit into the future, come back, make a story based on the future event that didn't happen yet, and then freak the fuck out about that. And then freak the fuck out about you not freaking the fuck up about that. How are you not freaking out about this? You mean the thing you just put in front of me 2 seconds ago that makes no sense and has no bearing on reality, and you've done this 7 times and it's never come true? That thing? Yeah! It's all bullshit, man. So you have to basically, and I hate to say it, I don't hate to say it. It's a phrase. You hate to say it. But when you look back at no ma'ams, women are the most responsible teenagers in the room. It's like, I get it. They're just so easily hyped by marketing. And what is medicine these days but marketing? Marketing and saline. Whatever. The Edens. So now you're trying to fix that, and heaven forbid you're a blue-pilled, cluck, black-pilled doomer, whatever the bad guy terms are for the week. I can't keep track of them. And you're like, oh, I love my wife dearly. I would hate to see her freaked out. I better accommodate her wishes so she calms the fuck down, and then maybe I'll get some poon later. And it's like, no, you won't. But you've just become an enabler to a drug dealer who's hooked on stacks of marketing. I don't know, marketing stacks, whatever. So that's how things get bad. You get a bunch of women who are just like easily susceptible to this shit, and then a bunch of guys who are terrified. Nothing terrifies them more than their wife or girlfriend being mad or sad or angry or freaked out. It's terrifying. Oh my God. The love of my life. The cure to my fear of rejection. And she's feeling awkward. Fuck, whatever. It's all bullshit. So they lean on this shit, and like, look, we had like a thing in the red pill where a lot of people were talking about marriage longevity for a while. It's like, well, you know, most people live long and healthy marriages and whatever. And it's like, is it really though? Like, divorce is about 50%, and then there was the argument there. Well, it's actually closer to 30% because 20% of the people are having 3 or 4 divorces. Fine, 1 out of 3, still fucking bad. Somewhere between a third and a fifth of marriages will divorce in like a 10-year span or something like that. And I'm not doing stats here. I'm just giving you like ballpark illustrative examples. A third to a half of the time, the shit you're in together with the woman you love is not going to work out. And it's most likely not going to work out because she's not happy, because she is bored, because you require stability, because that's how you thrive and build shit. Nobody builds shit when you're in chaos. The problem with chaos is chaos makes pussies wet. So fuck, what do we do? I don't know, fuck the au pair. Well, anyways. Now take all the half of marriages that are left. How many of those are fucking happy? How many of those have a sex life? How many of those are where the guy doesn't have like, I fucking hate my wife jokes all the day? Like another half. So you take 1 out of every 4 marriages is like 1 out of every 4 relationships is one where the guy is happy and the girl is happy. 2 out of 4 is where the girl is happy. And sometimes they're happy being miserable. So happy is kind of like a weird thing anyway. And I can already hear Rollo in the back of my head with the 2 types of happy. Fuck, whatever. Just, I'm using it as a loose blanket term. You guys get what I'm saying. The goodness. The goodness. Hold on a sec. I just realized I gotta get caught up with all the chat here. Yeah, this one's a good example too. Congrats, by the way. That's a huge loss. Yeah, I guess I've forgotten all this stuff. 30 pounds. That's good. That's good. And that's it. So you consider that like 25% of the people in a relationship are ones where the guy could be like, no, we're not doing that. And you see all these based women on Twitter or social media, or maybe in your friend group, you got that one chick who's like, I fucking hate immigrants. Says that at the book club. You're like, holy shit, based. That's because they usually got a guy at home who just does not put up with that shit. And then the girl, because she loves her man, rewires her narrative in her head. It's how the women's mental models work. I've talked about it often, where it's they feel something and then they converse with those around them and they come to a consensus about what this feeling means in reality. That is what women mean by truth. Help me codify my personal experience. And so when they look at their man as like the greatest thing in their life and he's like, yeah, that's dumb, they will fandangle a whole Pinocchio narrative in their head to understand, no, that is dumb. I'm actually base trad wife. It's the same thing as every girl who has a hobby probably got it from a man she was sleeping with. It's the same thing there. Any girl who's got her shit together. Because it's like, oh no, what are you doing as a man? You're manipulating your wife. It's like, it's either me or it's the TV full of guys trying to sell her peptides. Like, pick your poison, man. Girls are going to be manipulated by something or other. Well, that's not true. I'm my own woman. That's why you have the bull dyke haircut and bitching about lesbians and talking about feminism. Yeah, easily not manipulable. I'm a goth, just like all these other goths. You can tell because we wear the same outfit. We don't trust the group. It's like, all right. Yeah, and Bish is right here. Now, in fairness, this is kind of where I'm going with this one too, is the most basic and best way to lower insulin resistance is working out, sleeping well, and long. Both cost nothing, make your life better, nobody gets paid. There was, and I've been looking for it. I've been looking for it for years. I can't find it. I remember it clear as day. But it was this guy talking about how he had gone on TRT. And he goes, oh my God, it was this easy this whole time. So he was like on point with his diet, like weighing his food down to the calorie kind of like specificity, logging all of his workouts, didn't miss a workout in like 3 years, made sure to get 8 hours of sleep. He was doing everything perfectly. And he was in his late 40s, and it was a slow, grudging gauntlet to get into shape. And then finally he just said, fuck it. And he went on TRT and he goes, oh my God, why was I not doing this earlier? Why did I have to make this so hard on myself? He was eating like a normal person. He was drinking alcohol again. His workouts were still fine. And he's like, it's just dropping off of me, the weight. This is great. Why did I fight so hard when there was like a magic button? Which again, makes me laugh. Did you guys notice how all the manosphere influencers, the whole, all the blue pill cucks just want a magic pill. Solve all their problems. Fucking retards, not like you guys, you doing the work. And then as soon as they offer like a lose weight, grow muscle pill, we're like, yeah, fucking right. Fuck those hacks. So it's like, clearly we don't care about shortcuts. But we like saying we do because it makes you feel good to know you're a fucking, whatever. Yeah. Well, it's not, see, and it's like the part you're not getting. They're not doing it to make you happy. It's not a ploy. It's not any of that. They actually truly do like this. But it's that they like you, and so they convince themselves subconsciously to like the things you like. But the thing is, if you ask them, they truly do like it. It's not a play. It's not a fake. It's not, shenanigans. They actually like it. And then when they don't like you anymore for whatever reason, and they like somebody else, they'll like somebody else's stuff. And they wholeheartedly do it. It's mirroring. It's a psychological thing that people do when they want to bond with other people. It's called mirroring, and they do it. And that's why your ex-wife liked everything you liked and then left you because she wasn't happy because of some other, and it's something to do that has nothing to do with the hobbies. The not lack of attraction to you at times could have been you did something to make yourself unattractive and she lost love. She did something to make herself unattractive, then lost love. There's that standard Evo Psych explanation of women who try to get as many babies from as many different fathers as they can as some sort of defense mechanism against viruses and bacteria and stuff. Now, I don't know if that's true, but it's at least a narrative that kind of wraps around the R and K theory shit. But we're not going to go into that because that's too much. Like, I've already used too many science words. Said R and K. Who gives a fuck? But yeah, no personality of her own. And again, it's like, do women even care about loyalty? You guys are using all these male traits and you're mapping them onto women and wondering why they don't meet up to it. I can't believe all of these masculine traits that I treat as valuable, women don't have and they don't value. These bitches ain't loyal. It's like, maybe they're just bitches, man. And I only say bitches because I don't know your names individually. Love and respect to all of you. Yeah, Europe using mercury to cure syphilis doesn't seem so far-fetched. I mean, technically, bleach kills COVID. So, do I suggest you drink bleach? Probably not. Well, maybe some of you, but not officially. Resented before it, blah, blah, blah. New chick hates most of the things I like. Likes nothing new because of me. Been together 9 years now. Yeah. And look, it's not that they like or don't like things. They like you, and so the things you do, they learn to like. I don't know what this one is. If you're on the peptides to stack things. Yeah, napalm cures everything. Exactly. And that's what gets me. So peptide trust and the mRNA trust. It's saying we're very selective when it comes to trusting the science, We trust the science when we think it benefits us. But does it? I don't know. It's been too early. Like, how long has Ozempic been out? Has it been a decade yet? No. These are just, I forgot the wood, the beads and that stuff this time too. We're going pretty naked on this podcast. Has Ozempic been out a decade? Because I remember Fen. Do you guys remember Fen? I think that was huge, and I want to say the 80s or the 90s. I can't remember which. But everybody loved it. It was the weight loss drug of all weight loss drugs. As far as I could tell, it was just like a methamphetamine of some sort. And a couple people's hearts started exploding. They pulled it off the shelves, but it had been out for like 6-7 years at the time. So everything is great. This is too good to be true. And they're like, yeah, it kind of is. Now, you could argue, well, if a fat person stresses his heart that much, he's probably going to have it explode. Well, it's like, who's going to be on Fen other than fat people? Yeah. Turns out people who drive cars don't want their gas to explode. It's like, Fen was like the hydrogen car for people. Ooh, can confirm my wife's more red-pilled than me. Hates feminists, goes on anti-immigrant screeds. Oh, fuck it, good woman. Even I have to tell her to tone it down before she ends up on a watch list. Dude, the watch lists are fine. I've been on one myself. Maybe two. I don't know for sure. But we're working on that. But the thing about watch lists is it turns out it's just some bureaucrat somewhere doing make work stuff for himself. Just stay off of the UK watch list, because those guys fucked Roosh pretty good. Oh, there it is. Legal meth. Exploded your heart without cocaine. That was like the miracle cure. And when I see a lot of these people going hardcore, I'm like, yeah, I kind of remember.
Hey, brother, who do you think is the funniest member of Rule Zero Squad? Now? What's your favorite comment joke of theirs? I think Ryan brings good laughs. He does. Ryan is like British humor. It's like Monty Python. And people are like, if you get it, you laugh your ass off. If you don't get it, you're like...
Spot Ryan Stone.
People just don't get his humor. Who's the funniest one on there? You mean besides John Fitch? I think John Fitch is the funniest member of Rule Zero, but he's unintentionally funny. One of the robot dogs.
Seeing this robot dog in real life was pretty surreal and terrible.
And Cappy's pretty funny. He can be pretty funny too. Who's the funniest member?
Okay, here we go. So approved in 2017, available 2018. So it's been about 8 years. Give it 10 years without people having flipper babies or like your face melting or strokes or shit like that. I will be more than happy to be like, all right, we worked it out. It's the creatine of weight loss. Let's fucking go. But I'm just telling you, it would not be altogether irresponsible to wait a decade. It's like Marvel movies. It's like cinema in general. Don't watch the movie for the first 6 months. Let everybody else waste their hard-earned money watching gender slop bullshit. No, I'm not watching The Odyssey. No, I'm not going to watch He-Man. No, I'm not watching whatever the fuck. No, you get 6 months to a year. After that, if people are still talking well of it, I'll go see it. The only exception I've ever made for this is Barbie. I got dragged to it by accident, and it was a wonderful exception that proves the rule. So fuck that. Yeah, well, I mean, John had a kid, so his kid's probably like 3 years old now or something like that, and he's been doing hardcore workshops and training, so he's just not been around. He's been extremely busy with his new family. Keep in mind now, he's got 2 families with 2 different girls, so he's doing the old school thing, and like another thing that people used to do in the 80s, they used to have like a second family in a different town. That's John now, and one of the wives hates him, so whatever. I have yet to see tinkering with human hard coding ever go well en masse. Thalidomide, birth control, and now peptides. Yeah. Let's not forget that. The birth control. Actually, you know what? Not even going to go into the birth control thing. I'm sure Rollo's got a wonderful thing about the birth control changes or whatever. The fact that it makes... What is this? So the general points are the birth control makes you pretend you're pregnant all the time. So your body thinks it's pregnant, so it stops trying to get pregnant again. I think is the gist of it. I'm sure there's a science thing that's like, that's not quite accurate. Like, fucking nuance. That's just generally what happens. Hey, lady, you're pregnant. Oh, okay, thanks. I don't need these anymore. Sweep all the sperm away. Now, the evopsych theory is that when women are, and you've seen our chart, our little epiphany phase chart, you know, girls and alpha party phase, Cancun foam parties, 23 years old, hit 27, approach the wall, get baby rabies till they're 35. The kids turn 5 years old, go to school. Having a dad is no longer essential, but good to have. Girls reinvest in the alpha stage. This is one of those things, the betification process from David Clare's Practical Female Psychology, where girls go through a certain psychological process to where they fall out of love with their man, move on to a new man. The 6 stages there. Like, we're all directionally correct. It is convergent evidence from a bunch of different people and a bunch of different avenues, all coming to the same conclusion. There is a instinctive process that women go through for the alpha fucks and the beta bucks. There is certain psychological hardwiring that they have to act a certain way to ensure that more often than not this happens. And we all know it at this point. We can argue about, well, phase 3 is kind of ridiculous. It's like, all right, fine. But we're directionally correct. Not Barbenheimer, just Barbie. The German existentialist rock opera? Come on, how could you not? How could you not? It's like I said, my girl went in there with a big smile on her face, and I went in there miserable. Halfway through the movie, I look over, she's miserable and having a great time. Like, huh. But yet the male... Oh, that was back to this thing. The male birth control. You remember that? Oh, the MRAs, the men's rights advocates, and the MGTOWs, the men going their own way, and the black pill doomers, a.k.a. the Indians and the incels, and all the other isms and its and autists and whatever. Oh, the male birth control. Female birth control in the 60s changed everything, man. Once we get the male birth control, the pendulum's swinging back. We're going back to, like, Austrian painter masculinity. Yeah. It's like, okay, man, you keep waiting for that magical drug that's going to make you not a pussy in your life. I'll wait. Well, it's University of India's coming out with this one. Oh, really? University of India. Tell me more. A country with like 1.2 billion people, a 0.8 gender disparity, and more sexless virgins than anywhere in the world. And that includes the 1 child per family policy of China for 20 years. They still haven't beaten India's voluntary infanticide epidemic. So don't give me this, well, we're going to figure out a way to protect populated birth control. You already did. It's called infanticide. Fucking retards. So that was bullshit. It was supposed to be some like little thing you inject in your penis, and then it like has little things that block the the baby tube, and then it wears off after 5 years. Turns out it was all bullshit to secure funding. Who'd have thunk? Who'd have known? Wait, there's no microscopic razor blades out there, like pulling a fruit ninja on my sperm count? That's bullshit. That would have saved. If I only could have had fruit ninja on my balls, I could have solved the gender dynamic. And it's like people were seriously making these arguments, and it makes me fucking laugh, man. The science is such bullshit. It's such bullshit. Yeah, but they're like, it's like a foam razor blade sperm fruit ninja. Like, fuck off, man. And then finally it's like, all right. Fuck all that. We got a new university. This one's in America, so you know it's good. And they have another birth control, and it's a pill, and you'll love it. It's like, oh, cool. What's it do? All right, so you know how testosterone helps you build sperm and all this shit? It just kills your testosterone. It's the most amazing estrogen goy slop out there. And it's going to make you so weak and pathetic and have such a hormone degeneracy that your body can't be fertile. And it's like, what the fuck? First off, remember when everybody was bitching about ethics boards? Well, the reason you can't study red pill stuff, you can't tell me that men and women do this and hypergamy. You can't study that because of ethics boards. It's very unethical. And then they're like, hey, how about this one that chemically castrates men? Oh yeah, fuck it, roll. Let's do it. Well, this one with the razor blade foam in India. Oh yeah, let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. So tell me more about these ethics boards. The ethics boards that never answered that question about the mRNA research pathway. Well, it's actually a lot quicker when you get rid of all the red tape. So the red tape's not worthwhile is what you mean. And we're actually just wasting time and money on everything else. No. It's important unless it's not important. Oh, so the rules apply until they don't apply. Then we can't have them apply. And you're a misogynist for even thinking of it. Or a racist, possibly neo-Nazi or whatever. It's like, I get it now. Bad guy, shut up. Let me do what I want. This sounds like the most battered husband, abusive wife relationship between a man and his country I have ever seen in my life. And everybody's doing it. And I must be crazy to even think about noticing it because what the hell is wrong with me? It's all bullshit, man. It's all bullshit. Hell, vector vaccines themselves. Do you guys, and I'm not going into the anti-vax thing. Do you know what it originally was? It was like I can't remember if it was smallpox. Oh, smallpox was one, but there was this other one in China where they just took, if a guy was like diseased with something and he scabbed up, they would take the scabs, they'd crush them into a powder and they'd blow them into somebody's nose like a little magical Chinese peptide. And then they found out, hey, they don't catch the smallpox or whatever. And then they found, oh, hey, the lesser form of smallpox, the cowpox, actually insulates people from chicken or from smallpox. So let's get everybody sick on this one. And they just have their first chickenpox parties, which they don't do anymore for some reason. I guess rickets is a thing of the past. I don't fucking know. So that's like 700 years ago we figured out. And that's basically been the peak of vaccination theory. Yeah, we have a more sophisticated way of doing it with chicken eggs and mercury and autism, but it's like the same technology. Yeah. Postmodern hypercapitalism. No. I'm not doing this commie babble. Postmodernist hypercapitalism. Fuck off. Well, see, the bourgeois, petite bourgeois made the ethics board. Like, nope. Not gonna mundom me this shit. Fuck that. It's all bullshit. That's the one thing I kind of hate. So I've talked before about the Evola boys on this. It's peripheral to what I'm talking about, but you'll get what I'm talking about. And this is something else I keep in my mind. So yeah, you're hearing me rant about all the shit that YouTube used to kick you out for, right? Oh, the vaccines, we're not Joe Roganing this. We're not. Because look here, a lot of guys did that. They did the red pill thing. They learned a lot about women. They learned a lot about themselves. They started getting laid. They started getting in better shape. They ditched their childhood stacks and got on their therapies. And then they got hooked on the idea of learning, of peeking behind the curtain, seeing what the wizard's actually doing with levers. And then they started getting into weird, stupid shit like Evola, which is like this weird neo-fascist thing, which... Is it any good? I don't know. I'm like, can we move on past World War II as the defining element of our time, the anchor point from which all, like, I'm done with the 40s. I am done with the 40s. I don't listen to Flapper Girl music. I don't want to hear about the Austrian painter. I don't even like his paintings, and I'm a huge art fan. I do not like his paintings, and I am not afraid to say this. Data was World War One. Surrealism was like in the 50s. I can live with that. 9. But they would learn all this stuff, and then they got hooked on the idea of uncovering forbidden knowledge. And so what was forbidden knowledge? Well, if a liberal says this is bad, then this is, and I'm like, oh, for fuck's sakes. We're at the owning the libs level of learning about navigating the world, huh? Oh, look, Avola, they hated him. Gramsci, they hated him. It's like, why don't you read this stuff? Why are you so opinionated about it? It's like, no, I'm not putting that bucket on my head. I'm not going to commit to reading 800 words of autistic blather because a bunch of dudes who can't fucking handle a fucking job, a 9-to-5 job without getting fired for being awkward. No, I'm not going to trust your opinion. No, I'm not going to educate myself on your shit. The fact that it attracted you right there is the easiest indication that I have that this is not worth my time. What about that blue-haired feminist chick that hated her dad and got touched by her uncle? She loves commies. It's like, yeah, okay. No, I think I'm good. You can't judge a book by its cover. The whole point of the cover is to judge the book. That's the point of the cover. If you wanted me to read your shit, you wouldn't have looked like a fucking retard on the outside. And I get it. Beauty is only skin deep, but ugly is to the bone. When is somebody going to stop that Stalin guy? Well, we did kick out Trudeau and we put in older Trudeau. A right-wing politician in my region has an original AH bought at auction for $20K. Interesting. I guess it answers that old moral question. Would you wear Hitler's sweater? And the guy's like, yeah, sure. Anyways, I'm done with that stuff. I don't care. But it's all just bullshit too. It's all just LARPing. We're just LARPing like the 40s again. You know why? Because there's like Oscar Schindler just made his movie come out. Which, by the way, YouTube Shorts have been showing me clips of that again. How did we fucking fall for this shit? I'm watching it now, and it's the most cartoonish, over-the-top villainy I've ever seen. Like, the only way it would have been more on the nose, no pun intended, was if, like, the the SS were, like, shotgunning beers in between, like, fucking with the dude. And like, oh, for fuck's sakes, man. And they were, like, sincere music in the background, like, it's the worst tragedy of our time. And the guy's like, yeah, fucking woo. It's like Duffman. Duffman goes to Germany. Fucking, it's all bullshit, man. It's all bullshit. But then what do you do with all this stuff, right? Like, look, it's really easy to say all this shit is bullshit. And I'm not saying that peptides are bullshit. I'm not saying an mRNA is bullshit. I'm not saying vaccines are bullshit. I'm not saying any of this shit is bullshit. I'm saying the way people talk about it, the way people act around it, that's all bullshit. It's like everything. It's the people that suck. mRNA as a concept, I get it. The idea that you inject something that borrows a couple cells from you, transforms them into factories that make things that benefit you hormonally. I get it. It's cool. I have questions, but I get the idea. But then when you got people, well, it's on the Tonight Show with David Letterman, so it's like you got to take, like, nah, man, I'm not going there with you. That's a bridge too far. This isn't fucking hell. You know, I'm not saving my society. As might as well yarp. And you're not. Like, you're right. We're not saving anything. Look, you know that whole "we gotta save society" shit. I'll just posit this to you. If you ever read about the Rhodesian Bush War, they constantly talk about the Rhodesian Bush War as in the most effective fighting force in the history of Earth. Just based off of like KD ratio. How effective were they? How many people could they kill versus how many of theirs did they lose? And the ratio for the Rwandan army, I can't remember what the acronym is, was higher than anybody else. Anybody else. And it's not even close. It was something like 600 to 1 or 6,000 to 1. I don't even remember the exact number, but it's one of those where it's like, yeah, if you see a Rwandan army guy, you're basically done for. And if they're out there in like shorts, like jorts in the bandana and a foul, and it's like, yeah, man, you don't want anywhere near that. What do? They give them these little tiny ornithopters, and they just drop them off. There you go, murder that town, and like done. Where's Rwanda now? You want to talk about saving the West? Rwandans couldn't save Rwanda with the most effective fighting force in human history. The fuck you think you're gonna do with an mRNA vaccine in this shit? Nothing. So what are you gonna do? I look to the Roman Empire for my inspiration of this. The Roman Empire collapsed over like 400 years or something. I'm not going to get into the details. Just it's an illustrative story. Don't quibble about the details. Don't pull chemistry on me. 400 years. And I'm almost positive that every individual dude who lived in Italy or lived in Germany or Britain, their lives for the most part had not changed. The entire known world was crumbling around them. The Bronze Age was dying. The Sea Peoples were conquering. And yet Bill and Ted, the average man from Constantinople subdivisions, life did not change. So yeah, this thing all sucks and everybody sucks and the economy sucks. But for the most part, it's kind of happening around you. And in some cases to you, like the economy, the fact that cost of living stuff, but it's not all about you. You'll be fine regardless. There was dudes in Stalinist Russia who were just crushing it. They were banging broads left and right in Stalinist Russia. You will figure out a way. And if not, why the fuck are you here? Because that's the entire point of this goddamn movement ideology, is to figure shit out, right? I'm trying to figure shit out. And I don't have all the answers, and nor should I. I have what everybody's written down. I have my own experiences. I have other people who are doing the same thing, and we collaborate together. We come up with ideas, and we experiment at things, and we try things out. We write down what other people tried out, and it's the best we got. It's not great, but it's the best we got. And it's pretty good. It works. It's better than most of the bullshit you hear out there. Yeah, it's a good way of putting it. But the one thing I will say that I am goddamn good at, and I like to think you guys are good at, is just sniffing out bullshit. Whether you're for it or against it. For it, I find even worse, because it's like, do you really want idiots running your shit? No, I don't. I would rather the bullshits on the people that I can't stand. I hate when there's bullshit thrown at me on something I agree with. It's like, dude, you've sold me. Stop bullshitting me. It's therapy. It's replacement therapy. It's the testosterone you should have had, but the feminists took it away from you. Just call it a stack. At least that was catchy. I can't call it a stack now. I have to call it testosterone replacement therapy because I have to be embarrassed. I have to be embarrassed about wanting to put more testosterone on my body so I can have some cannonball shoulders and some very thin, like, facial lines like The Rock's got going on right now. It's like, no, fuck that. Call it a stack. I'd call it testosterone, but that's too much science. Everybody will think, oh, that's bullshit. It'll sterilize you. Isn't that what they said about TRT too? The testosterone sterilizes you. Testosterone makes you infertile, and then not taking testosterone fertilizes you and sterilizes you. Cholesterol, you don't want that. Yeah, you do, but not the bad stuff. Well, actually, the testosterone helps with the cholesterol, and you're like, oh, for fuck's sakes. You know what you need? Lipids. You're going to give you some blood heart medication. I still laughed. I was in my fucking 30s. That same doctor gave me the right ad about TRT. She was saying, my blood pressure is like 120 over 80. It's always been 120 over 80. I have like the best blood pressure. Nobody's had better blood pressure than me. I'm like an Olympic swimmer and I don't swim. Like, oh yeah, but you're going to get a heart attack by 30. You got to lay off of salt. Here's a whole bunch of blood pressure medication. She gave me a laundry list of like massive, like, no, you're going to die in 10 years. I haven't seen any death yet. I don't know what to tell you. Just their sales pitches are so bad. And it's like, I've kind of reached the day with medicine. And I know there's a lot of guys, like there's a lot of Gen Xers going, fuck, look at the new guy here thinking he's reinvented the wheel. Look, I get it. I'm not the first guy to figure this shit out, man. I'm just the first guy in this studio with this microphone yelling it into the mic, all right? Bear with me. I'm not doing the Zoomer thing where I reinvent shit. But I'm almost convinced that most of this medical stuff that we needed and doctors themselves are just salespeople. They're just salespeople. There's a mechanism behind it. I'm sure I can explain it. I'm sure I could blovolate, pander, prattle on about all this shit. But I just know that. It's the same as financial planners. You guys ever been to a bank? They hook you up with a financial planner. And when you first walked in, the way they talk about your financial planner is the way like, your lawyer or your doctor, you're like, oh, there's some reverence there. This is a person who's qualified to help me maximize my investment strategies. And then after a couple years of dealing with their shit, you're like, you're just a fucking salesman selling me a used car, aren't you? You fucking hack. Two things got me to that conclusion. One, experience, and two, I actually knew the chick. There's a chick I knew. I lived in Montreal. Her name was Veronica. And she and her husband, they're okay people. They're kind of like, I don't even want to call them like progressives or anything like that, but they're kind of one of those, like, the wife runs the shit, the husband just okay goes along, like the Ray Romano shit, you know? And she was not hot enough for that attitude. That's all I'm saying. She did give me some interesting stuff, though. It's like, it's interesting when she looked at the accounts. It's like, your wife's not in debt, and you actually have a fairly large nest egg. It's like, yeah, aren't you supposed to not spend all your money? Oh, just most of the time we come in here, wife has a ton of debt, and it cancels out the guy's nest egg. And so you guys eventually come in with zero. In fact, you're in the plus. I'm like, I don't know, threaten to break up with her if she spends too much money. I don't know what to tell you. But it was pretty funny when she's like, yeah, just about every couple that comes in here is always like, the guy is essentially paying off his wife's debts in real time. It's like a continuous debt. You know that you'll own nothing but be happy? It's like that, but for a dowry. She's not yours, it's just your turn. But for ease, low monthly payments, you don't have to own. You'll just rent and you'll always be happy. And it's like, but I'm not happy. Uncle Ted speaks of this. Yeah, that's another one of those, like, you know what? I'm just going to leave Uncle Ted alone. Whatever. Not wrong. It's kind of stupid. Whatever. Yeah, take aspirin every day just in case. Remember when there was that scare that, like, oh my God, aspirin is making everybody autistic and everybody's freaking out about aspirin? They were freaking out so bad they had to take a bunch of SSRIs while they were pregnant. Oh, I don't want my baby getting autism. Better pap these SSRIs. I'm freaking out about it. That's weird. Why are his eyes spaced so far apart? I don't know. Do you think maybe those peptide chemical cocktail? Like, no, that's therapy. And it's hormone replacement therapy. It replaces the hormones that are already there. Well, maybe that's why his eyes are so far apart. It's replacing the space for the fifth eye that used to be there. Yeah, fuck, whatever. Oh, yeah. Brian Johnson. Remember that guy? The biohacking guy who ended up getting, like, fucking ass cancer or whatever? Oh, he was like, I'm going to live forever. I'm taking the blood of babies and putting it into my thing. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. He was all about... He was the liver king for offals. Affluent, white, liberal females. The upper middle... Like, yuppies. Yuppies. The Brian Johnson for yuppies was the liver king for rural Americans. And it's just so funny that they both end up the same way. Liver King's got, I don't know, cancer of the liver or something like that. It'd be pretty ironic. And then Brian John's like, yeah, my ass actually hurts. I met a new girl that got me laid, and now she's got me doing mushrooms. But that's probably for mental health. It's like, whatever. And we laugh at these guys because, dude, you're treating your body like it's a science experiment and you're getting yourself killed. And then we're just going out like, oh, he did talk a lot about peptides. Maybe there's something to it. Maybe I want to look like a 46-year-old man that looks like a 46-year-old man. But, you know, more like Data from Star Trek. Aspirin's part of my stack. See, I already know what stack you're talking about. That's the thing, too. You know what he's talking about? He's talking about the ECA stack. And that used to be the coolest thing back in the day. The ECA stack. The fuck's the ECA stack? I actually know this. Ephedrine, caffeine, aspirin. The ephedrine was a way to increase your metabolism. The caffeine was a way to increase your alertness. And the aspirin was a way to thin your blood so your heart didn't explode. So you take the ECA stack. It would be 24 milligram pills of ephedrine, and then the 120 milligrams of caffeine, and then 1 or 2 aspirins, or like an extra strength aspirin. And for a while there, it was good. I took it when I was at sea, which never do. If you're ever going to take ECA stacks, never do it while you're sailing. Because I was on a 1 and 2 watch. I wasn't sleeping well because nobody sleeps well on a 1 and 2 watch. And the room, because we want to keep things sterile, we have an air chiller blasting to where the point where your mess is basically a refrigerator. Otherwise, you just get like nasty sweat stains everywhere. So you have to make it smell like put it like a refrigerator there. No bacteria grows. I had to leave the blankets off because I was sweating all night. It was so hot in there. Oh, and the worst part is like you're sitting there and like, you know how your heart's beating right now, but you can't feel it. It's just, you know, it's beating. You can feel your pulse. You can put your hand there and you'll feel like a little, but like imagine just sitting here. And you know how like if you tense your bicep, you can feel it. Like I feel the muscle contracting it. Imagine that's your heart. Like I'm feeling my heartbeat. This can't be good. So I stopped taking it at sea. Did it work? I don't know. But it sure as fuck made me suffer enough to think that this better be working. Yeah, there's all this. I'm not going to go too much into this. Yeah, there's all this shit. That's true, but consider all of these masculine manufacturing jobs. This is not... Whatever makes you a man has been decided from the evolution of humans as a species hundreds of thousands of years ago. We officially have such small genetic drift that you could take somebody from like 6,000 BC, put them in today's world, and you wouldn't be able to tell them apart. You get a Greek from 6,000 BC. He will look like a Greek from well, maybe not a Greek, but yeah, I'm not going to get into that speech. But yeah, you know what I mean? Like you'd recognize him, you put him in sweatpants. Oh, that's a Zoomer. So when we talk about the masculine supply side jobs this is the Industrial Revolution. This is a blip on our evolutionary radar. We have not caught up to the idea of unlimited calories in our genome. So like this doesn't even factor in. Yeah, I saw I saw this one at Substack. Stripper was calling about you guys are getting off all the fucking you know what I can't fucking stand? Yeah, peptides and testosterone stuff. Yeah, but the Smith machine. Fuck the Smith machine. You know what else sucks? Fucking China. Look, I'll warn you guys right now. I know where this ends up. Let's not go there to the end state. Let's not go to the end state because you already know exactly which group of people are going to be the topic of conversation. And I have 3 rules of the internet. No ironic Austrian painter stuff. No making fun of Democrats during an election year. And no blaming the Jews for everything. I don't care if any of it's true. I don't care if any of it is useful. I've been on the internet now as a career for about a decade. And I will say, if you want to have a long, happy, healthy, fruitful, financially successful career online, you stick to those 3 rules and you can weather just about any storm. Just about any storm. You can do almost anything else. Almost anything else. I am also a fan of this Smith machine bullshit invention. It's the restriction of your movement. The whole point of a good squat, or like, I think that's what he's talking about there, just the squats. Yeah, is you have to do a very specific movement to keep your back stabilized to the point that you don't cause injury. And that freedom to use those micro movements back and forth and left and right to keep it that way are what make the squat safe. And a Smith machine removes all that. So I don't like it. I don't like it at all. In fact, I don't like most equipment. I think the only piece of equipment that I don't mind is like and I don't even use it. It's like the butterfly press, you know, the one with like this thing. I don't mind that. And anything with a cable, because a cable doesn't really change your movement. It just changes the direction of gravity, essentially. Because otherwise gravity's always pointing down. The cable can make gravity come at you from every angle. It's just easier than contorting your body. But yeah, I don't like leg press machines. Yeah, I did 900 pounds on the leg press. That's great, but your spine does not like that shearing action that you're doing on there. And you're one mistake away from fucking breaking your knees. Heaven forbid you ever lock your legs accidentally while you're doing a leg press thing, and then you watch your leg bend the other way. There's a lot of videos of like Indian dudes doing too much on the leg press, locking their legs in, and then watching the shit come back. It's like, no. It's not worth it, man. Well, yeah, but I can only squat 200 then. That's fine. You don't need to squat 500 pounds to be a man. You don't. Well, yeah, but it's not enough weight. Well, here's what you do then. Do it twice as much. If you don't feel like a man doing 200-pound squats, then do a set of 20. I guarantee you'll feel like one afterwards. Not that it matters how you feel anyway. Is it about feeling like a man or being a man? Oh, it's feeling like a man. Oh, yeah, it's kind of like a girl where she feels like she's part of the group, right? Yeah, whatever. Fuck, it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. Hey! Our Gregorian Dutch boy's back. Good for him. I'd say the reverse hyper. I don't even know what that piece of equipment is. Yeah, free weights, even calisthenics over machines. Yeah. And there's like very few situations where I think a machine is better. And that includes the leg extension, the hamstring extensions. I don't like those either. I think the only time when they're actually useful is somebody who's going through physiotherapy. Like when you have some severe muscle or tendon or joint damage to the point that you need to restrict the movement to train the part that's like injured, I can see some benefit in that. But if you're not in a physiotherapist's office, a sport physiotherapist's office, you don't need machines. You don't need machines. Now, I would not consider the Easy Curl bar a machine. That is just a way of lifting weights that has a bend in the bar so it can change your wrist rotation. That I understand. See, Jack said it himself. Great for isolation. But you know what? They sold you on the Bowflex. They hoodwinked us all on the Bowflex, man. Oh, the Bowflex. You need that piece of equipment. You need this piece of equipment. It'll allow you to lift 240% more weight. It's like, does it? Or is it just using the mechanical leverage of a metal machine to make it feel like I'm lifting more weight? They're just bullshitting you. They're just bullshitting you. The whole thing is bullshit. They're just bullshitting you. The whole point isn't to lift a bunch of weight. The whole point is to stress your body so that it grows and improves and gets mobility. Like all those health things. Are you lifting the weights to improve the weights, or are you lifting the weights to improve you? If you're lifting the weights to improve you, it doesn't matter what the fuck the numbers are in the thing. If you can get jacked with a pink... Here's your experiment. You can get jacked after a year of consistent workouts, but every weight you use is a pink weight. Would you still work out? And I guarantee you, a deceptively large amount of guys would say, fuck no. And you know how I know this? I'm not even guessing. It's because of the fucking basketball stats. There's that grandma throw where you throw from under your legs and you swing it up and to do free throws. Apparently, that is the easiest way to ensure like a 90%, 98% free throw scoring rate. And Shaq has like the most abysmal free throw score in the NBA history. And they told him, if you switch to this method, you will improve this thing. You will become one of the best free throwers in the sport. And he's like, nah, man. I don't want to look like no homosexual. And that's it. Tanked his free throw portion of his career because he didn't want to look like no bitch. You know what I mean? Well, and this is kind of like proof of the pudding. I don't want machines. If I have to use machines, it's probably because I fucked up a lot. And every bodybuilder post like Sergio Arnold after those years, the Dorian Yates onwards years, you ever seen one of these guys when they're retired? Like Flex Wheeler, Dorian Yates, who's lightweight? God damn it. Why am I not remembering his name? But yeah, they can't bend down. Their knees are fucked. Their joints are fucked. Their spine is gone. They got no fluid in their spine. All these new guys, fuck that. There's this. Well, technically, not even Bronze Age, like the old 1800s lifters, like Sandoz and that. The reason they had blocky physiques is because they actually trained their core to get bigger. They considered having a stockier core to be more of a masculine thing. The idea of the very thin waist and the tapered body thing is kind of a newer... Coleman, thank you. It's kind of like a newer invention. But absolutely. Plus, a lot of that is just the way you're kind of built anyway in your DNA. Anyways, I'm going to do a quick little thing here. Go back to my notes. Get back on topic. Oh, hey. Yeah, speaking of which, Jailboy's back.
Ian, what do... not Ryan Stone. I think he's the most important guy in the world. Ryan Stone. Give a about Ryan Stone. Me and him have gone back and forth. Blah, blah, blah. Ryan Stone does not pass the 6-foot test. He's not even a man. So I don't give a about Ryan Stone.
Yeah, so if you didn't hear, I guess the UK finally got their shit together again. He had to go back to this. He and his brother had to go back to the States because somebody's suing him for something and to deal with that lawsuit. And then while he's there, the Brits put a extradition request to get him down there for some rape charges. But they have to wait until Romania finishes their charges, which they're never going to follow through on because they're a corrupt little commie empire and the guys got paid off. So I don't know what all this means. I just think it's hilarious. And you watch like the result of like the social media buzz around it. I just find it hilarious. Like, fuck, we're still talking about this guy? That's like the most popular comment in addressing this whole getting attacked by the system thing. Oh, him again? It's like that Toy Story meme. Well, I don't want to play with you anymore. I got Clavicar now. Fucking guys, man. Fucking guys. Exactly. Yeah, who's in jail now, bitch? The only thing the 1,000-pound club got me was a handicap parking spot at 35. Yeah, that's... You joke, but as like a teenager, and my parents had one of those in the basement, I did use it. I can't remember if it was a Soloflex or a Bowflex, but it was one of those types of ones, right? The ones that used like, it didn't have weights on it. It just had things to bend and push and whatever. I just wish I could remember which one it was. I don't think it worked very well either. Yeah, his outfit though, not even a man aged so well given he dresses like a Karen. And I can't really judge. It's like, why can't you dress up like a normal human being? Your Temu Magnum PI bullshit. Oh, wait, back to the thing. Not as specific, supposedly weight loss. Yeah, that's the other thing. So what, like, for not doing research, it obviously means some bro will tell you, dude, get on peptides. It did great for me. And then you go to a health clinic because you can't go to a hospital because they can't endorse this shit, or maybe they can. I don't fucking know. And then the guy there who's the salesman, just like your financial planner, is like, oh, you definitely want these peptides. Talking to you like they're selling you a Miata. Oh, the Mazda Miata, the chicks will be all over your shit. It's like, really? For a Mazda Miata? I don't know. Small aside, just this one got me thinking. It's so funny. When I was on Chrissy Mayer's podcast, one of the girls in the comments said, oh, this guy is just like a polite and kind version of Tate. I was like, son of a bitch. He's the asshole version of me. Fucker. And we're all kind of ripping off Dick Masterson anyway, with his whole mustache, women shouldn't be whatever, which all kind of ripped off Roosh. I don't know who was before him. Oh yeah, Morton Downey Jr. That's right. We're all just ripping off Morton Downey Jr. anyway. What the fuck does it matter? And then you go to the clinic, and then the clinic has a salesperson who gets sailed on commission. They're like, yeah, you want all these peptides. The only peptides I know is there's apparently a weight loss one. Still don't know how it works. Nobody's ever bothered to explain it. They just say it works, bro. Trust me. I'm like, okay. And there's one guy who got a melanin one. I guess there's like a tanning peptide. So you put it in and you get darker. And he went overboard on it. He got like Snooki Orange. And I was just like, what the fuck are we doing, man? Remember back in the old days where if you wanted to fuck up your body, you would just tattoo your face and shit? Put a bunch of piercings in there, look like a lizard person? Then that one crazy guy tried to tattoo the whites in his eyes, and it turns out that like blinded him for life. And they're like, oh shit. I saw Chrissy parted ways with the Friday night tights crowd. Shit. I should know what this means. I don't. Jack, can you do me a solid? In the chat, just let me know what the fuck you're talking about. Because I'm like confused. I should know. It's my job to know this shit. I don't fucking know. I barely know that peptides give you melanin. So people are taking peptides to look like me, but they overdose on them. It's like, do you really need a tanning peptide? Yeah, it's like all the benefits of tan without cancer. It's like, well, are you sure? Because I'm pretty sure if you start jabbing all this extra shit in you, there's a good chance that something will cause a cancer. Oh, there we go. Oh, the movie reviewers like Critical Drinker, Nerdrotic. Oh, so that's like the people she used to collab with, like them and Brittany Venti and all that. Jesse, what the fuck are you talking? No, it's like there was a thing. I get it. She left with that crowd. I think that's good for her then, man. Good for her. You know what? And I'll say this much. She always struck me as the same kind of asshole as all these other people. But she seemed more sincere about it. Like, she's a comedian. So you kind of get that comedian abrasiveness. And, like, I can respect that. I think it's great. It's basically like talking like a blue-collar employee. But, like with everybody else, there was always like a veneer, a facade in front. At least she seemed sincere about hating shit and not liking shit. It was more like watching a female version of me out there. But it could have been because she was a New Yorker. Who knows? Retta is a triple agonist. Dude. Thank you. But I don't want to have to look up what any of the, like, here's the description. I don't know what any of those words mean. I know what ghrelin means. I know what ghrelin is, and I know what a gut is. So it's a triple agonist. I believe it does affect ghrelin. Mainly works in the gut. All right, fair enough. For me, what gets me is just like, do you need this stuff? Because like the idea of sakes. Excuse me for a second here. Buddy's dying.
I love the way girls smell. I love how they always make sure, by and large, they shower, and they just have an amazing smell to them in general.
Now, if you want a silver blue tan skin color, there's a way to order that's older than Peptide. You go for gold audio silver. Yeah, I heard about that. Where was I going with this one? Oh, the whole point of taking these things. It's not, and I don't care about the don't cheat. It's like, cheat what? Fuck off. It's illegal. Lots of things are illegal. Nobody seemed to give a shit when weed was illegal. They were still smoking the shit out of that. So don't give me these fake ass excuses. I just look at it the same way I would look at everything. Does this help me achieve my goals, right? If you want to take peptides to lose weight, fucking give her. If you want to take peptides to get jacked, I'm like, first off, do you need to get jacked? Why do you want to get jacked? Well, that's the way the chicks will love me. You don't have to be jacked to get women. Carl put it best like 7 years ago, and nobody's improved on it since. There is a threshold you have to reach with everything in your attractiveness, your physicality, your charm, your charisma, your game, all that stuff. When it hits about a 7, after a 7, it's good. Unless you're like fucking 11 out of 10. As long as you're a 7, it's fine. Nothing works against you. So do you need a peptide to get a 7 out of 10 body? Not really. Is it worth the risk? To me, I don't see the benefit in that. If I weighed like 400 pounds and I wanted to get to 200 and I was going to die next year if I didn't, sure, you got a sense of urgency on there. Same as the 86-year-old boomer probably took the mRNA vaccine because, well, whatever dangers this has, it's probably going to be less than if you catch COVID with your old fat ass. So I get it. You've got 16 comorbidities. Maybe you could risk this one. All right, sounds good. So do you need TRT to get completely jacked when you could be in shape enough? Not really. If you're a completely fucking sad sack loser, got nothing, even then, really? Because I always say, well, I don't always say, but I have been saying that I think one of the worst things that guys can do, if you're one of those guys that hit your 30s, you've never worked out a day in your life, and then you immediately get on testosterone or stacks or TRT or whatever, it's probably a bad thing. Because the thing about working out and hard work in general that nobody really talks about enough is that, yes, muscles are the primary movers, but there is an entire system that your body has that enables this to work. There is your bone density, there's your tendons and joints and all those connective tissues, your endocrine system, your central nervous system, all of these things. And it turns out when you work hard or you work out, it actually trains these things as well. A lot of times when you're working out like calisthenics and that, what your body is doing is we're always using this same muscle. So your nerves start expanding and branching and getting more nerve connections to the muscle, which allows it to have a faster response time. That doesn't come instantly. That's a very, very slow process. Your bones, as you're working hard and stressing your bones, it actually increases bone density. That's why if you ever watch old retired bodybuilders, they've lost all their muscle mass, they stop taking testosterone, and they have like this Cro-Magnon body to them. Like the bones are just thick in that, and there's like a very weak frame, weak muscles on top of it. That's because they've been working out so long, their bone density has increased. That takes like decades. Your endocrine system working on, your joints and tendons, they all take a lot of time. There's no blood flow going through this shit. So it's a very, very slow process. And so when you immediately go on TRT, you're 35, you've never worked out a day in your life, your muscles are growing big, but your tendons aren't, your joints aren't, your bones aren't. Snap City calls, sir. Snap City's calling. I just ripped my pec out. I tore my bicep. How'd you do that? I don't know, but I gained 70 pounds of muscle this year, and then I tried to fucking race in the Olympics. And you're like, fuck. Problem is, nobody's ever said, dude, I'm going to fuck that man. Look at his tendon insertion joints, or insertion points. Look at those. My God, his bone density is sexy as shit. Drop your pants, let me blow you. Nobody says that. So guys don't think about that. But you know what they do think about? Being in traction for 6 months. Okay, so it's the Nerdronic Friday panel show about movies and TVs and comics. Well, good for her then. Out of all the things to leave, I would say that'd be a good one. I got no hate against Nerdrotic. I just don't like that whole critical drinker, I hate things. It's the nerdy shit that I remember. Like, I have always loved movies. I remember in college, every one of my friends was like the nerd about something. We had like the comic nerd. We had the movie nerd. We had the skateboarding nerd. And then I was the video game nerd. Between all of us, we learned all the nerd stuff. But their friends were always horrible. To talk with us was just a bunch of people who like stuff. But then you get a bunch of nerds together. They just like being part of the club. And that's what I always got, my vibe that I always got from like the Nerdtronic crew. I don't think so. I think I got to go to Costco today. I'm out of too much stuff. And it's the only place I can go grocery shopping anymore that's not ridiculous and full of, well, actually, that's not true. It is full of migrants. Plus, there's this homeless guy in a wheelchair that I almost fought this one time at Costco, and I want to go back there to see if he'll come back. I almost fought a fucking homeless cripple, and I didn't even feel bad. But he was threatening my girl, man. He starts getting in her face, and I'm like, dude, fuck off. He goes like he's gonna spit on me. I'm like, dude, I hope he spits on me. Like, yeah, I might get AIDS, but I'm gonna kick this man right out of his chair. And then he just left. Cause I guess, I don't know. I guess a guy, when he's ready to fucking fight a cripple, he has a look in his eye, and the cripple is very good at detecting. It's like, no. And he just rolled off. I know, that's the problem. I kind of take that back. I'm like, no, migrants love Costco. The one thing I have found is they love Costco on the weekend, and they love Costco in the afternoons. They don't like Costco in the mornings. So if you get there early enough. I mean, he was gonna learn. But here I am talking. Look at this tough guy. I want to beat up that cripple. Man, this guy's so masculine. It's not the point. I don't care if you're a wee little crip. You can't be fighting a wee little girl. Not when I'm there. I'm like, dude, I can't. How am I supposed to have a relationship if I let some homeless guy in a wheelchair bully my girls? Like, why are you putting me in this position? So now you got to go. Anyways, enough of that. But you see what I mean? Like, you get through all of this shit and it's all bullshit and none of it really affects you. So what do? You just ditch the bullshit insofar as you can and you make a good decision based on what you know. Understanding that you can't know everything and everybody who's telling you about the truth isn't really. But that's not useless either. The red pill shit has taught me that, if anything. Everybody's making fun of the evidence that we use. Oh, it's anecdotal evidence. Oh, it's just this, just that. There's no rigor to it. Where's your numbers? Where's your statistical blah, blah, blah? What's your We don't have any of that shit. But you know what we do have? Shit that works. Shit we can replicate. It's more than I could say for science. They just did a rehash of that 85% replication crisis. Do you know in the education social sciences, zero papers can be replicated? That means for the last, God knows how many years, 50 years, not a single education study was true. That's not even a coin flip. That's just like, you will do better by doubting everything. Everything. Not even like, well, maybe give it something. Like, no, just flat out denial of everything you read and learn about how to educate people. Zero. That's not even a replication crisis. There's nothing to replicate. There's nothing. See, this one here, keyword, if anybody started something. I'm not going to start something with a dude in a wheelchair because I want to feel like a tough guy. I'm really polite till you start getting fucking weird. And then I'm not polite. And then it escalates as far as you want it to because I don't want to be that guy. Do you know, I get it. There's cell phones everywhere, man. If somebody ever gets a TikTok of me fighting a dude in a chair, there is no way I come out of that looking good. I understand that. I get that. There's no way that somebody's going to film this and go, yeah, good on you. Take out that chair boy. Stephen Hawkins looking motherfucker. There's no way. So if I'm doing it, you got to know it's a righteous reason. I knew all the hate I was going to get. It's like those guys that finally lose their shit and like start fucking swinging on girls. It's like, you already know. He's done all of the calculations in his head about what's going to happen to him. He already sees, like, by the time that first punch gets cocked, he's already seeing his job gone, his family disowning him, his banking gone as the punch gets closer. Oh, he's never going to get a girlfriend again. Oh, he's going to be on Fox News being lambasted. Oh, the feminists are going after him. Oh, he's going to get a wrench in the head like Richard Spencer. And then by the time it connects, he's at peace. He's at nirvana. He's like, all right, my life is over. It's like the Spartans. You're already dead, so fight to survive. And at that point, the girl I feel bad for because it's like, dude, he's got nothing left to lose, man. You're about to get a Waffle House ass whooping, and I don't know what to tell you. There was so many opportunities to get away from this situation, and you just ignored all of them at this point. And the guy just stopped giving a fuck. I can't. Good luck. That's all I can say. Good luck. I hopped on the Solbra. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that shit, too. But you see what I mean? This new age shit. And that's the worst part of this. I think I didn't even have that on my notes. I should have. Nuke, you're always coming in clutch, man, to save me on the topics. All the red pill stuff. And everybody wanted to like, what's the newest thing? What's the next biggest thing? And they were talking about sun, the vitamin D. Oh, vitamin D is so good for you. And like, yeah, it is good. Get a little bit of sunshine, but don't go tanning yourself to death. But then what happened? Somebody figured out, and this is probably like learned it from COVID, but it turns out certain parts of your body are what they would call entry nodes for viral infection or bacterial infection. What does that mean? Your skin is actually your probably most protective thing in your most protective organ in your body. 90% of diseases you would have caught, you don't catch because your skin is blocking it. Now, there's your eyes, there's your mouth, I think your ears, and your asshole. These are all sensitive, thinner areas of skin that actually can absorb things from the outside much more effectively. That's why you get sick, because, you know, something gets in your mouth or in your nose. That was the other one, inside your nose. And so somebody saw that going, wait, your butthole? Oh, it turns out your butthole is extremely susceptible to this stuff. Well, vitamin D is good, so why don't you suntan your asshole? And of course, it sounds so outrageous that everybody's talking about it and listening to it. But at the same time, I'm like, fuck are we doing here? What kind of homoerotic shit is this? And I remember the guys that were doing it, they were doing it like the same way they endorse those masculinity courses, where it's clearly a homosexual retreat. But they're trying to play like you're out here to be men. Let me hold your cock and balls. The asshole. You know what? I'll give you a story from basic training. Or no, it was from my threes course about basic training. Threes course is like your initial trade qualifications. It's kind of like after basic training, but before you're becoming a full-fledged sailor. I wish I could remember the guy's name. He kind of looked like a neo-Nazi, but he was like the sweetest guy. But you could tell he was like one of those guys that smoked 2 packs of cigarettes a day and drank a 2-4 of beer every weekend types. You know, drank Pilsner. You know, he's called things a fucking dart, yeah. And he was telling the story about how when he was in basic, one of his buddies was like so annoyed from all the marching and that. And so he's like, he shaved his ass. He shaved his whole asshole. And he goes, oh my God, this is like the most freeing experience ever. And it's like, it was great. And he's just, fuck, yeah, this is great. You guys got to do this. And he's like, all right, man, I'll tell you. Like, and he was giving him the warning. He's like, you shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have done that. And then sure enough, near the end of basic, when it got stubbly, it was like basically sandpaper in your ass 24/7. And it was like the worst story. He tells the story so much better than I ever could. And it was like so long ago, I can barely remember it. But I remember there's a second story about poop that you don't want to hear. But that was the one I remember. He was bragging about shaving his asshole for like 2-3 weeks in basic. And then his hair grew long enough that it became like just sandpaper. And then they had to do the 10-kilometer ruck march. And the guy was just dying on the thing. And he's like, I fucking told you. Then when my first question is when you give the I fucking told you, I'm like, how do you know this? Like, I don't shave my asshole, but that's because I just have, like, why? I have no reason to do it. And I've shaved before, so I understand the idea of stubble. And when you try and go a beard, how it gets itchy. Like, I don't want any of that and my asshole being in the same sentence. But how do you know that? And he goes, how do you think I know it? And I'm like, oh. And then that's when he started telling the hockey stories about the poop and that. But I'm already going to get this channel demonetized, most likely. And I don't want to just, it's a bridge too far. Are you going to get your liquid caffeine from Costco? They don't have my liquid caffeine at Costco. So I have to go to New Caffeine. Which they're, honestly, look, I've just been talking about how it's all bullshit. Look, it's liquid caffeine. It's just caffeine. It's like taking caffeine pills, but it's a liquid form. You take it but they have this container. Have you guys ever seen this? They usually do it for like dish soap or for like washing car soap. It's a plastic container and it's got a little piece in the top there, and you squeeze it, the fluid goes up this little straw and down into the thing, and then allows you to measure and perfectly portion it, and then you just pour it out. There's like some weird science to it, but somebody put a caffeine mixture in there. I'm like, that is awesome. So every in the morning, you give it a little squeeze, and then you pour it into your whatever. Vitamin D and asshole in the same sentence should tell you everything you need to know. Yeah, that's all bullshit. And I guess that's the other thing that gets me too. So we're moving on past this, but like the last thing I'll say about asshole suntanning is how many people believe it, how many people watch it the same way we watch wrestling, and how many people hate watch it because they hate conservatives or whatever, or liberals. You know what I mean? How much of it is a hate watch? How much of it is true believers? And how much of it is kayfabe? I don't have the numbers, but I have a feeling the kayfabe guys, the guys who are like, I love watching Andrew Tate, he's just so bombastic, but they know it's kind of an act. They know it's just pro wrestling. I think they will be extremely surprised to find out how many of the people they thought they were in on the joke with are actually true believers. And of the people hate watching it, I just don't understand why you would spend so much of your time sitting there devoting your life to something just so you can see that you know? It's like if you wanted to hate somebody, just call your mom or call your dad and yell at him. Why do you have to get it in your entertainment? It's like, I don't want to be happy. I want to be mad. And this guy makes me mad. Why does he make you mad? Because it reminds me of something. Or sometimes for no reason at all. Like I got haters here. And I'm not saying it to brag or anything, but it's like they're just a disproportionate amount of hate on me for what I've done to them in their lives. And I have to believe it's like there's clearly some shit going on in their lives. And I just happen to be the perfect scapegoat for it, which is fine, whatever. Just throws me off. You almost got it. How funny. Yeah, just don't suntan your asshole, man. Well, that's the other thing. Like, there was a case to be made on haters before we had such abundance. Like, we have... I'll use movies for an example. There is no reason, if you hate anything you've seen about the Odyssey so far, to go watch it. Why would you? Do you know there's like 100 years of cinema out there right now? 100 years. And each year, hundreds of things. There is more movies and TV than you can watch in a lifetime. If you spend every waking minute watching everything that was put to film, you will die before getting through it. That is abundance. Your only thing now is like, where do I want to spend my leisure time? And some things are so good you'll want to watch them twice. I've watched Die Hard 500 times. I've watched Long Kiss Goodnight 163 times. I've watched RoboCop. I can't even count the amount of times I've watched RoboCop. And I'm going to go watch it again after this because I was just thinking about it. I'm like, fuck, that's awesome. Commando. My girl loves Commando. Predator. How could you not love Predator? I Come in Peace. Fucking wonderful movie. Hell, we even watched Born in East LA, the Cheech and Chong, or the Cheech Marin movie, which is crazy how it's kind of one of those dead movies like Freddy Got Fingered. They don't put it out on DVD, VHS, show it on TV. You can't find it on streaming services. I eventually had to find it through like a Live Lake rip. Like, holy shit. And like with all this ICE detention shit, how is this movie not getting a 4K master? Yeah, I work for Dick Jones. Hell, even with the Odyssey itself, there is a guy on TikTok who apparently is really good at speaking ancient languages. And he was like reading and singing the poetry from the Odyssey, like the original Odyssey. And I'm like, dude, this shit slaps when you read it. It's got that like ooga booga campfire vibe to it. And you're like, yeah, this fucking, I could watch this Odyssey. Just put this with some AI slop of like Christopher Nolan shit on there. And I'd be all for it. And I will admit, I have a soft spot in my heart for the 1997 Armand Assante one. But you see my point? Why would you hate watch the Odyssey? You can just go watch the miniseries. Armand Assante playing the Greek going in there. I was even joking around. There was another cinephile on Twitter, of all places, and he was showing the scene where he goes to pass the test, shoot through the axes. And then the camera pans to the axis, then pans back to him, and he goes looking from the old man to the new man. And I'm like, I actually kind of like that better than some CGI transformation thing, because it's more dreamlike. Like, you know, when you have a dream, and then all of a sudden, like, a main detail will change in the dream, but your brain just goes with it, so it seems like perfectly natural. It's like, yeah, I was sitting here in the park, and then all of a sudden I'm at the airport, and it's like, of course you're at the airport. You turned around over here. It's got that same, like, continuity, lack of continuity. Like, the verisimilitude just works better. I just find it works better. Oh, shit. Hold up a sec, Ross the Skunk. It's good to see you.
So the memes, they're very good. This is really, they've taken it.
True Alpha.
Named Ryan Stone.
It says, ask Murphy about the article he wrote, cuckolding his wife. Clear up the cuck article. Clear up the cuck article.
Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me?
If I wasn't prepared to literally impoverish his entire bloodline,
I am now concerned for my career.
And I'm still recommending clear up the cuck article.
You know what? Fuck you for bringing this up. Yeah. Fuck you. Heartfelt.
I'm not going to have those guys back on my channel again. Absolutely not.
Just use a little bit of fucking common sense.
It is just...
That's great. That's you should.
Fuck you.
Sorry, apologies.
Just keep going, dude. One foot in front of the other. Before you know it, this will all be in the rearview mirror. Fuck you.
All right, so I'm done. The topic's done. I'm going to rip on this shit for a second here, because fuck Troy as a movie. Troy is a bullshit movie. I don't care who wants to hear it. Look, I love what you would consider like B films. Not because like I love shitty movies. No, there's movies that are executed cheaply, like competently executed cheaply. I'm fine with that. I like that. I can set aside, oh, the budget wasn't there for this if it's executed well. What I cannot stand is movies executed poorly. And Troy is a perfect example of a movie that is executed poorly on multiple reasons. Where to start? First off, the voice acting. They added a lot of British actors there because they wanted to give it gravitas, which I'm fine with. If you want to go that route, go that route. But then you put Brad Pitt in there, who has he clearly didn't have time to set up a voice coach. Talk to him during the workouts. Because he has kind of like a knot, like a Mary Poppins British accent, to the point where Brits are like, ugh. So you put him in there. At that point, why not just let everybody speak in their normal accents then? If you're just going to say fuck it, just go with that. That's fine. Secondly, they're all in leather armor. Why the fuck do they have plate mail marching sounds with a bunch of dudes in leather armor on a fucking beach? They are not medieval full plate mail archers walking around in a forest. I don't need to hear that ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk shit. Thirdly, you guys may not remember this, but Saving Private Ryan came out just before this. And all the executives were loving Saving Private Ryan. So you know what they did on that beachhead scene? They literally told the director, I want a Saving Private Ryan Normandy beach scene here. And now that you know this, you go watch that Troy scene where they take the beach at Troy. And you're like, oh my God, where's Tom Hanks? They have shit that's there for no reason. They have these big wooden spikes set up. Like, there's no tanks coming in. It's a bunch of dudes with shields and spears. The fuck is that supposed to... What's that giant wooden log on the beach supposed to do? Flaming arrows? What do you have flaming arrows for? Oh, it's to take out the boats. They're leaving the boats. You don't need to take out the boats. The fuck are you doing? Oh, fire looks cool. It makes it look like artillery shells. Oh, the only thing it was missing is somebody with a trebuchet and then the rock fucking exploding as it hits the thing. It was just so fucking bad. And then the choreography, I usually use Star Wars as my go-to example on how action is supposed to supplement the story, not be a pause in the story. And I always use that because, you know, like in the original movies, the fighting actually tells the story. Where in the prequels, the fighting is just there to show off choreography skills. Troy's like that. Case in point, the fight with Hector and Achilles in that one. You watch it, he basically mogs Hector. They do a bunch of fancy sword spinning and spear spinning and shit like that. The guy just gets tired, trips over a rock. He just basically gets bullied into it. And then the next scene, he's like, he's the greatest man I ever fought. It's like, no, he isn't. If he was the greatest man you ever fought, they would have shown some back and forth. They would have shown, it would have shown it in the action. And I cannot stand how with all of the action, They're not telling anything of a story. And then the whole shooting him in the leg, in the ankle afterwards, that's like a nod to the audience wink shit. I'm like, fuck that, dude. Everybody knows Achilles dipped in the Hades River by his ankle or by his heel, so his heel was the only weak spot of him. Everybody knows that. You put something like that in the story as a foreshadow if you want to Chekhov's gun in at the end. I don't give a fuck. Don't rely on the audience having read the fucking Odyssey, cocksucker. No, it wasn't great. It wasn't great. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Choreography-wise, it was a great mobile. They jangled keys in front of us with the best of them. Things were spinning around. It was almost like they were doing kung fu. It is not a good fight. There is nothing in that fight between Brad Pitt and Eric Bana that gave you any catharsis from the storytelling whatsoever. None of it. It was never Hector knowing he was going to die and accepting his fate. There was no, it's the greatest man I ever fought, making him have a heartfelt moment. It was just, hey, jingle, jingle, jangle. Fuck that movie. Yeah, I hated when the Trojans started machine gunning the Greeks. So anachronistic. Yeah. But there was so many just technical things they got wrong. And again, I don't care if it's cheaply executed, as long as it's competently executed. And I don't care. You got Brad Pitt in a multi-million-dollar movie. You got a bunch of dudes in leather armor. Why is your sound guy doing plate metal? Fuck that. That takes you out of it. Why does everybody have a British accent except for like two guys? Either have everybody do whatever or everybody do the same thing or make you sound Greek. Like, you can go either way on this. I've seen tons of Roman films where they have like British accents, like Rome the TV show. I think everybody had a British accent in that one, and it works. It's consistent. It's the idea that you're hearing in a Shakespearean theatrical thing, so it works. Or you can go the Mel Gibson route, like you did with Apocalypto, where everybody was like Mayan, speaking Mayan with subtitles. That fucking worked too. It was all very immersive. Troy didn't give a fuck about immersion. They wanted to give you Brad Pitt abs, and they wanted to bring your girlfriend in the movie and have her think it was great. And then you were like, this reminds me of Saving Private Ryan. This is fucking awesome. Fuck that movie. The only reason anybody likes that movie now is because the last 15 years of films have been so fucking bad that we go back and look at the Star Wars prequels and Troy and be like, man, we didn't know how good we had it. You didn't have it good. You didn't have it good. That movie fucking sucked. They're going to be popping those balloons on me right quick. I'll tell you that right now. We need to know Ryan vid on that. I might, well, here, that's the thing. It's like, I haven't done a video on there in a while. I got to go back to it, which I will, but I probably wouldn't do an Orion video on Troy. At least not in the formats that I've got now. I'd have to do something different. Because, like, the whole point of that channel was not to hate on movies. It's to, like, stop hating on things. Just watch things. Like, it had 2 points. Watch things you enjoy and judge something by its own merits. That's literally the whole point of the channel. Watch things you like, enjoy things in their own merits. I Come in Peace. Great movie, cheaply executed. It does exactly what it's supposed to do, and it does it well. And if you watch it by its own merits, everything makes sense. It was a good popcorn. Yeah, it's a mobile. It jangled keys in front of you. That's not the standard that I want to set for film. That was a good idea in the 50s when there was only 30 films. But we're in like 2026 in the year of our Lord, Obama. Like right now, they're taking the 1986 Transformers movie and they're re-releasing it into theaters on 4K. That is a better use of your time than going to watch Troy in the theaters for popcorn movies. The best fight scene was in Boardwalk Empire between Eli Thompson and the FBI agent. Tell me I'm wrong. I've never actually watched the show. I've seen some YouTube clips of it. And the one thing that impressed me the most was that assassin guy with the half his face. When he went in to free that kid from his the girl he was dating. Get him out of that brothel, whatever. But I mean, but like even that, like the action there kind of set the story. Oh wait, and that was the one where they're at his house. Yeah, there's all kinds of shit. It's the kind of talk of films I enjoy. There's sincerity back and forth, not a bunch of lame surface travel shit. Oh, I agree. And don't give me that whole, well, it's woke and feminist. Like, I don't give a shit about that. One of my favorite Christmas movies is The Long Kiss Goodnight. You know what The Long Kiss Goodnight is? The story about a middle-aged soccer mom who finds out she's Jason fucking Bourne. Samuel L. Jackson is the wisecracking sidekick. It's like a neo-noir action comedy, and it's just fucking brilliant. And I love it. So don't give me that shit about, oh, it's woke. I don't give a fuck. Just make it good. Star Trek Deep Space Nine is like woke progressive slop. But it was well written and it was well executed, and so I'll watch it. Even if I find it extremely cringe when like Dr. Bashir is sucking up to the transgender chick on there. What the fuck was her name? Dax. Oh, this man's now a woman. It's like, you guys know, right? You guys know that was basically a tranny in Star Trek. Changes her body, changes her gender. Like, come on. Well, fucking no. Dates the big black guy on there. Like, we know. And did it bother you? No. You know why? Because it was a good story. Yeah, but it's propaganda. Yeah, maybe. But, I'd rather watch good propaganda than what fuck we got now. Plucky team of lesbians take an 80s retired action star and go fight evil corporate white man. It's like, I'm tired of that Netflix special, man. I'm not doing it. The only problem I had with the preview for the new Transformers is they didn't use the hair metal soundtrack. They had like Weird Al, Devo. I think Sammy Hagar was even in the soundtrack. But like, stick with that shit. Don't give us that Disney-fied orchestraic slop music they got now. And I really hope they're not changing that. It's the two things I want to go see. Yeah, oh dude, Hong Kong has like mastered it. That's the one thing it is so good at. Between John Woo films, Jackie Chan films, even the old school like Golden Harvest stuff. They knew how to have action tell a story. Jackie Chan, absolutely. Yeah, you got the touch. I remember that. But it was like the first cartoon you saw as a kid where they killed off the main character to advance the plot, which was just, it was an unheard of thing at the time. Optimus Prime was like the greatest thing ever. Every kid loved him, and they killed him in like the first act. And it was just like, and that created stakes. Now Rodimus Prime has to basically carry the torch knowing he's not as good as Optimus. The only other show I remember seeing from the 90s that did that was Giant Robo, which is, I would still say it's my favorite anime of all time that nobody fucking talks about. It was set up to be like the same style as old Astro Boy and Ultraman cartoons from like the 60s and 70s and 80s. And the International Police, there was this main character, and I cannot remember his name for the life of me right now. I'm going to have to look this up because I want to get the names right. Giant Robo, International Police. I know the kid's name was Daisaku. Yeah, Daisaku Kusama. Look at that. They got a fucking thing for it and everything. Oh, for fuck's sake, I don't want the robot. I want the characters. Do they have the characters? Dude. There it is. Characters in Giant Robo. Professor Goat, Tetsuki Taisu. That's it, Taiso. Yeah. So there's this guy Taiso. He kind of dressed like a Chinese sailor, and he had like this gourd of booze, and he would drink the booze and he would spit out onto his hands. He had like glowy arms and he'd like throw fire and shit like that. They had a weird thing there where people just had powers. They didn't explain why, and they were just there, and they changed occasionally, but it didn't actually affect it. He was like the Leonardo Ninja Turtle of this group. And then in the first act, just during the escape thing, he sacrifices himself, gets fucking murked right at the start, and everybody kind of has to salvage the whole group afterwards, and I love that. Oh, dude. Actually, you know what? First this one, then this one. Yeah, dose of cosmic horror and indifference through Unicron and shouted at a kid's show. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what they did back then. They had kids-themed entertainment with adult themes in it. Like the Neverending Story is another great example. Dark Crystal, another great example. Neverending Story is a story about a kid whose mother died and he's dealing with his grief. That's the plot to Neverending Story. The plot to The Goonies. Kid's dad, like the industry in their small New England town or whatever goes down. Kids are basically being kicked out of their place for being too poor. And they're going on one last adventure as a group before they get separated forever. But it's like they're hunting for pirate treasure. which seems more poignant now. Another good one. Well, yeah, the Transformers, exactly. Cosmic horror. But it was good because as a kid, these were like extremely heavy adult-like themes, and they were just great for kids. And I will admit, I do like Jason and the Argonauts. I do. It's such, even though it's like, I think it was like 65 or something like that, 64. It's an old special effects driven movie, which means a lot of stop motion automation, but they really did it better than most. It was the industrial light and magic of the time, the way they did that. But it actually was pretty good. Like, I would take it over Sinbad. I would take it over Adventures of Hercules. Definitely. Now, if you want a good anime, Code Geass. Now, I'm telling you, Giant Robo's way better. And it's literally, like, it's made out to be one of those action-adventure serials, like International Police versus Big Fire, like Cobra versus G.I. Joe kind of things. But the actual theme of it is living with the legacy of your father. Which is, again, super heavy theme for a kid's cartoon. Of course, when I have to leave, you start talking about 80s movies. I know, right? Well, don't worry. It's 10 minutes till the end of the thing, so I'm not going over time. It's one of those things I'm realizing, too. It's like they infantilize kids. It was somebody on Substack had the greatest thing. It's like, just because you have children, you don't have to watch children's TV. You can have them just watch adult TV. Like, there's no rule saying they need to watch this stuff. They don't need to watch Blue's Clues. I was like, that's not bad. Yeah, Clash of the Titans was another good one. All of that stuff. Even the campy ones, like Flesh Gordon, which was like a porn 70s camp version of Jason and the Argonauts. It's still pretty good. Well, it's like Flash Gordon and Jason and the Argonauts. But there's something about like the jank special effects that over time I've come to grow fond of. Same thing as like the 80s where they hand painted a lot of things like lightning and that. It's just, so at the time, technologically, it's the best they could do. Same as like the art styles of things, it's the best they could do. But then as time passes, it becomes its own style. And then you learn to appreciate it in spite of its lack of realism. It's the verisimilitude that it has. Practical effects will always be great for that. Like The Thing, completely unrealistic, but the effects were so cool to watch that you like it more now. Like if they had made The Thing with CGI slop, you wouldn't like it. In fact, I would argue the only special effects that haven't held up over time is that mid-90s when CGI first started getting into films. Like Blade, the original Blade, it's kind of unwatchable because of it. It's just the graphics don't work. Which is crazy because it's a very brief period too of like the mid-90s, because Lawnmower Man came out in 1980, I want to say 89, maybe 87, maybe 91. Somewhere in there, late 80s, early 90s. You don't know, it's Pierce Brosnan and Jeff Fahey, who was like a huge heartthrob back then. Retarded kid, it's a Stephen King novel, retarded kid. They give him some fancy computer things and it makes him super genius, but he's growing at an exponential rate. And he eventually takes over the internet with his brain. And they called him the Lawnmower Man because he was the guy he was the retard that mowed lawns. And they gave the whole 1980s special effect vibe to it. And it's like really horribly done 80s CGI, like wireframes and stuff. But it's so jank that you look at it now, it actually looks pretty cool. It's kind of like there was a CGI movie, I would call it like CG Fantasia. It was called Beyond the Mind's Eye. Do you guys ever remember that? Oh, yeah, here one. Yes, this one here. Fucking great example for Dark Crystal, by the way. And I remember as a kid, the scene with the I can't remember what they were called, the vultures. I can't remember what their name was, though. When they were eating, that terrified me as like a 4-year-old kid, man. It scared the shit out of me. That was awesome. But yeah, Beyond the Mind's Eye. Do you guys remember that? It was a CGI showcase movie. It was kind of like Fantasia. And all of like the vaporwave aesthetics you get, like everything was jank. Like, yeah, people always look extremely fake, kind of like Toy Story fake. But the way it worked, it just had its own style to it. And the problem is you can't get it back because the way that technology was rendered, it's very hard to fake it. You had, first off, the rendering was like 240p. So it's like very, very low grade. And then it was designed to be put onto analog systems, so made for CRT televisions. It just doesn't work with that digital to digital with filter shit we got now. It was literally digital to analog. Yeah, past limitations become future aesthetics. Absolutely. Like, I'm almost tempted. If you took, I remember I briefly did some computer animation when I was in graphic design school, but I haven't touched it in decades, so I probably would suck at it. But imagine if you were to have somebody creating 3D models and animations for stuff, but you told them, I want this rendered in 240p with a certain pixel fidelity, and then record it onto a VHS tape and then digitize that effect. I think you might be able to recreate that look, which I think would be awesome. Yeah, Reboot. There, it's perfect. That was what Canada made Reboot. We used to be that cool place. Oh, yeah, that's right. Johnny Mnemonic, which was like, so Lawnmower Man is to Johnny Mnemonic what Johnny Mnemonic is to Tank Girl, I would say, as far as like effects and like practical and CG effects go. But yeah, that's probably something I want to do as a theme. Like when I start going back to making Orion videos, I want to do Lawnmower Man. It's like the cyberpunk stuff. Johnny Mnemonic, Lawnmower Man, Tank Girl, Strange Days, Hackers. And I don't know if I'm missing any more in there, but I think that's the main ones, like the 5. Yeah, it's like a CGI demo reel. It's the coolest shit, man. The Dark Crystal, and you know the worst part is, the Dark Crystal was so fucking good as a Puppeteer movie. You had the Dark Crystal and Labyrinth. And then the next time you had anything near that level was like Team America World Police. I guess you got the Muppet shows, but the Muppet shows are kind of their own thing. Well, I'm literally doing that stuff with CRT TVs and digitizing it back. It's pretty fun. Yeah. Like if I had the room and the extra time, I would love to kind of like make a little lab setup with that kind of stuff. An old CRT TV, VHS, to digital and from digital, and like a little, I don't know if they still use the Silicon Graphics stuff, but I'm trying to remember what the fucking name of the software we used. I can't remember now. I guess nowadays it's all Unreal Engine 5 anyway, but anyways, so that's it for you guys. Fuck the peptides. I'm done. Look, if I'm at the point where I need them, I'll get them. I'll change my tune. But right now I'm like, you know what? I don't need that level of like excellence in my life. It's not worth the sacrifices I'm going to have to make. And the benefits I get from it aren't great, other than to say I maximized my stat. My one stat on my character sheet. I maximized that. I maximized strength and shredded, but I took a dive on constitution and cancer avoidance. It's like, fuck that. Yeah. There's an anime called Messenger Z, I think in the States, called Transformers. Old mech shot missiles from her boobs. I wouldn't be surprised by that. Anyways, enjoy yourselves. I don't know who's hosting Rule Zero. I'm not going to be able to make it to this one. Like I said, I got to get to Costco before the migrants get there. Got to go spend $500 on fucking potatoes and cheese. Thanks, Canada. Talk to you guys later. Hey, thanks for sticking around, by the way. I totally didn't do the peptide talk justice, though. I'm not doing any research into it. I'm looking at it strictly from a marketing bullshit perspective because, look, man, if you wanted, like, dystopian, cyberpunk, nihilism, come to Canada. We've got it in spades. We've got it in spades. The old people are in charge. They took the movie Cocoon, they mixed it with Schindler's List, and they mixed it with cyberpunk, and they made it into Canada. And and then they filmed it in Bollywood. So I'll catch you guys later. Fuck this noise, man. Alyssa was playing with me like a science experiment. What are you doing? I've never seen one from a dark guy before. It's usually pink. She continued examining me as if David Attenborough were narrating. Well, take a look now, it's getting late. Are you kicking me out? She looked as surprised as the last time, or any time I've kicked her out. No, not right away, but, you know, soon. Actually, wait. Where are my clothes, she said as she snapped up her white panties. She never wears the comfortable panties when she comes over. In the dryer. Thanks. She tiptoed out of the room. She pulled out a slim pair of denim jeans and a white cotton shirt, just how you'd expect a woman to dress for a movie or the malt shop. A A small Christian girl from a small Christian town. She threw her shirt on, and just like that, her wholesome disguise was complete. I sat up, in bed, and reached for my bathrobe. Big white, fuzzy towel of a robe. Wait, I want to ask you something. You don't owe me an answer, I said, but I want to know something. That stain on her shirt was completely gone. I love that damned washing machine. It was worth every penny. Stop drifting, Rex. Don't lose this thought. Don't you fucking dare. Yes, the stain is gone, she said. No, not that. I'm not fucking Mike anymore. No, not that either. I know that. It's that... The worse I treat you, the better you act. Okay, she laughs nervously. She's uncomfortable with this conversation that hasn't even started yet. I kicked you out of my condo, and the next weekend you gave me a blowjob in the hallway. You gave me that whip to play with, and then you told me I was a better lay than Mike. I don't even call you by your real name. I don't get it. Stalling, just say it. Why do you let me treat you like this?